Normally I love public speaking, but tonight I already hate it. Okay, so sorry about that. I brought my hat because some of these bald and bearded weirdos say, I can't recognise him. I say, get new specs, you drongo.
You tell them.
I will.
Yeah.
I will tell them. Anyway, I met Mandy at a Laughing Clowns show, which sort of dates it, about 40 years ago. And we just started talking at the bar, strangers, and I thought she was a very nice, attractive person, and then I didn't see her for some time. I think that's when she went to Mexico. And then I was hanging around with Courtney Gibson, who one day said, oh, we should go and visit my friend Mandy. And anyway, you know, the rest, as it turned out, was history. I'll miss her a hell of a lot. She was really my best friend for, you know, a lot of the last 40 years. And in recent times, she was always someone. She could ring me or I could ring her late at night. You know, she was a late night person like me, and we could talk for hours about anything and everything. And anyway, that's how we went in recent times. What I'm going to do now possibly is read part of an obituary I wrote 21 years ago for Mandy's dog Spot. For those who remember Spot. Mandy had a few dogs over the years. Spot was the wildest dog you've ever met. This is Struth magazine from 2002.
ABC Job Hoggle.
Dog Gone is the headline, and there's a photo. This photograph of Mandy and Spot, taken in the backyard at Newtown, was actually from about 10 or more years earlier. Ben Fink took the photo. Hannah and I were the editors of The Black Dog, and Mandy and Spot were the centrefolds, one edition. And anyway, years later, many years later, Spot died. Spot lived a remarkably long time. Anyway, shall I read a bit? All right. Dear Spot has been relieved of the burdens of life, at home after an illness. Of unknown pedigree, she was a white cattle cross with dark markings, tending towards bulkiness as she aged. The perfect mongrel. One night in 1988, she followed two lads back to a party. That was Daniel and Simon Hare. Daniel Morfitt. Simon Hare went up to get some more grog. Spot was then a nervous yet street-smart stray on King Street, Newtown, and the boys, who were on a grog run, smelled tantalisingly of barbecued meat. Spot adopted the house and its occupant, drummer, dancer, singer Mandy Pearson, who was to become Spot's lifelong human companion. Spot became a great friend of those who knew and understood her, especially those that brought old bones when they came to visit. Yet Spot always maintained outlaw status as a menace to cats, rodents, insects, noisy vehicles, and millions amongst the human race. She was never afraid of a scrap, remind you of someone? Even if her adversary was bigger than she was. Spot never liked the police, but did befriend the odd lawyer. She had highly developed tastes. As a youngster, she was in the habit of strolling about the neighbourhood alone at night. If there was something dead out there, she'd find it and roll in it. Her patch was South Newtown and Erskineville, and Spot was a regular at Sydney Park in St Peters, since it was a treeless expanse of recently reclaimed industrial wasteland. Outside her area, she was not so much at home, like most of us. Famously, she went missing on more than one occasion. Usually she'd turn up hungry and smelly. Once, however, an increasingly panicky search party found her loitering outside a fast food outlet. Her peregrinations were the inspiration for the song Lost Dog, recorded by Love Me on their album Jubilee Park. Spot's other great claim to fame was appearing in the opening credits of ABC TV's Arts show for a couple of years. I'd forgotten about that. Being a city dog, she never had great experience of livestock. She would start whining if there were horses nearby, and you never knew what she would do if she was not constrained at those times. At Centennial Park, she swam out into one of the lakes towards an islet where black cygnets had recently hatched. But she was soon paddling back to shore as fast as she could, pursued by several enraged swans. Her piratical nature was apparent one day on King Street when, spying a pedestrian absent-mindedly clutching a chicken drumstick, Spot decided it would be hers. The victim, doing a bit of window shopping, never saw Spot coming as she grabbed the piece of chook and kept going. This kind of behaviour caused great embarrassment for her human companions, but she didn't mind too much. And it was not just pieces of cooked chook that were under threat. When the Cruel Sea had recently signed with a record company, drummer Jim Elliott, here somewhere, had an important meeting with the record executives. He decided to take Spot along. Just as they reached the office and Jim was about to go inside, Spot pushed ahead of him, raced through the building, out to the backyard and killed the pet chicken belonging to the record people. Spot remained an unrepentant killer throughout her days. Even as a geriatric, while on a rare South Coast holiday, she managed to slaughter a possum. What can you do with such a creature? In Spot's lifetime, the Cold War ended and new wars began. Prime ministers came and went, yet Spot cared nothing for politics, and world events never worried her. She was a true hedonist who lived for the minute. Freedom and courage. It's a dog's life. Thanks. Anyway, I'll miss Mandy like hell for the rest of my life, and I'm sure many of you will too. Thanks.